If you're looking for a super easy granny square blanket that is unique, you're gonna wanna check this out. Today's tutorial, I'm gonna walk you through how to start setting up your triangle to make this gorgeous blanket using the granny square triangles. You're gonna need 4 of them, and you can make these as big or as small as you want. I did do 23 rows, and in order to count that, you're gonna start at the middle. This is the middle, and you are going to count going this direction all the way to the end. And that is how you're gonna count how many rows you have. I am gonna be using 4 skeins, 2 of each color, and you can use any color. I'm gonna be using, I love this yarn that's available at Hobby Lobby, and I will be using a 5.5 millimeter hook. I love this project because it is so unique, but it is also really, really fast and easy to make. And unlike the traditional granny square blankets, you're only gonna have to seam together 2 of your lines, which makes it so much easier and less time consuming. So let's go ahead and grab what we need and let's get started. Again, you need 2 different colors and a 5.5 millimeter hook. I used the magic ring for mine, but I'm going to show you using the chain 4 method. So you're going to make your slip knot, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to slip stitch into our first chain. And we're going to chain 4. And 4. And now we are going to be doing 3 double crochets, but we're going to work them in our circle that we just created. So here's our first double crochet. We're going to do 2 more. Two, and our third. All right, now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do 3 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to just do 1 double crochet. All right, so now we have 3 gaps that we're going to be working into. We're going to start by chaining 4 for our row number 2. Now we're going to yarn over and do 3 double crochets into that gap. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. You're always going to chain 1 in between. And now we're going to do our corner. We're going to do 3 double crochet, and then the corner is the only place you're going to chain 2. I love doing projects like this because it's very straightforward and you're kind of just repeating it, except you're going to be adding more clusters and more gap spaces. But initially, it's literally the same exact thing. And just as a reminder, every time you get to the end of a row, you're always going to do your 3 double crochet, and you're always going to chain 1 and do another double crochet, so that way you have your chain space that's going to be at both ends. I change colors about every 2 rows. However, I did do 1 extra row of another color just because I wanted it to end in a certain color. So the coloring is literally optional, but I did about every 2 rows. Had it been even, I think I could have got away with not doing that. But again, I did 23 rows. And this is my little color changing hack to keep it nice and secure. I am going to chain 3 more. So I have 4 total chains. And we're going to repeat everything we just did until you reach 23 rows. So just remember the important things whenever you get started. On your row, you're always going to chain 4. And then you're going to do 3 double crochets with a chain in between each gap. When you get to the corner, you're going to give it 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into that same gap, chain 1, and then every gap you have, you're going to double crochet 3. And when you get to the very end, never forget, you're going to do your 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 final double crochet to leave the gap at the end. And you're going to need to repeat this for 3 more triangles. So you have 4 triangles. And when you have that, go ahead and meet back up with me. All right, I have all 4 of my triangles, and now I'm going to lay it into a square. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to seam them together. I'm going to be doing the back loop only and the front loop only slip stitch seam. But you can seam this however you want. I find this way to be very straightforward and really easy. To seam these pieces together, you're going to insert your hook through the back loop of the bottom piece and the front loop of the top piece. So you have both of those loops on your hook, and you're going to slip stitch it. You're going to work all the way down on the separate pieces. It is very important that you make sure periodically that you are in the right spot. So make sure your clusters are matching up and your gaps are matching up. Otherwise, it's not going to be even when you get to the end of your triangle. So that is pretty important. I did use stitch markers to make it a little bit easier, make sure everything was matching up, and I did look and make sure that my clusters were lined up perfectly as I was working. I'm so sorry, I don't have the footage of me adding the border. I will talk you through it. It's like so easy. You're gonna understand. It's totally fine. I'm also gonna include it right here. Take a screenshot if you need to. So once you seam this side, you're gonna seam the other side, and you can use any color. I went ahead with the white color, and once you get to the end, you are not gonna fasten it off. You're gonna chain 3, and we're gonna do 2 double crochets at the very end, and there's gonna be these gaps that are already there. You're gonna give each gap 2 double crochets. When you finally get to the corners, you are gonna give each corner 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. When you get to the very end, since I only started with 2 double crochet, I am going to do the 3, chain 1, and then I'm going to add another double crochet before slip stitching it together. And that is the first row. Second row is going to be really easy as well. It's going to be your last row unless you want to add something else. I thought I was going to add like a half double crochet with this like purple color, but I started to do it and I didn't like it. I actually like it exactly how it is. The only thing is I have not blocked it yet. A single crochet all around, and when you get to the corner, you're gonna give it 3 single crochet, and then just continue on your single crochets. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial for this unique, cute little blanket. And if you did, let's not stop crocheting here. If you're a millennial like me, I know you are not gonna wanna stop here. You're gonna wanna check out my next video coming soon, so go ahead, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe, because we're gonna be making this blanket, and you either recognize it or you don't. And if you don't recognize it, you're gonna recognize it on my next video. It is so cute, so fun, and it's gonna bring you back to your childhood. So happy crocheting!